Well, hello. I want to welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. Now, you're looking at the picture up there and you're saying, that's not a pen. Let me tell you what this is. This is something special. This is a notebook. This is a Bomo art notebook. It's actually a Hungarian brand. And I'm not sure how I stumbled across it, but it's kind of cool. This one I bought two. This one has a flower theme. This one here has sort of a aquatic theme. I'm going to use the one with the flower theme. Larry Baronez sent me 2 sheets of Tomoe River paper sometime back, and I've been using them for pens in use, but they're basically filled up except for a little space at the bottom of 2 of the sheets. So I thought, time for something new. Well, these came, and I wanted to try one out for review. The other one I have a plan for. And so I thought, pens in use? And just because when I take my notes on these pens, I just write them on whatever scrap of paper I find. Why not in here? And then I can refer to it again later. Hey, idea! So that's what I'm going to do. So we'll be seeing our inaugural episode with this notebook of pens in use. See, I've already started it. And these are the pens that are, these are the pens that are in use this week. Alright, so small confession, not all these pens are actually in use. Some of these are empty and they're here to illustrate something. I just had too many inked up last week and it's kind of sad. So this week, I managed to pare them down by usage, so there we go. So I can't remember, I want to say 7 of them are inked up now instead of, what did I have, 12 last week? Something crazy. Alright, so let's get started here. So the first pen I want to show you, this is a Malarkey pen that you have seen before. I had some not so complimentary things to say about it, basically because there was a hole in the cap and the nib would dry out after a day. I solved it. It's not a very elegant, pretty solution. Yes, that's red duct tape over the hole. But you know what? Since I put the red duct tape over the hole, no problem. This is my second one now. And I'm not doing hard starts with it every day trying to get it to right. Now watch, it'll misbehave right now, but I don't think that'll happen. Let's see here. Malarkey. Ooh! I have not written this on purpose since Wednesday, and it is Friday, and it is working just like a champ. So I don't believe this has a nib size. It just comes with a cartridge when I do its review, which I'm, either way, now on my second Malarkey. I feel much more comfortable doing a review now that I can say some good things about it and offer a solution. So, yeah, nice black pen. Nothing special. I mean, it's a disposable, but because it has a cartridge, it offers some options. So we'll set that one aside. Like I said, not a lot exciting to say about it. This one you saw last week. I learned a little bit more. Ooh, let's get closer. All right, so this is a Swan. Last week I didn't know too much about it because I'd just gotten it actually. But this is, I've learned a little more since then. It has an italic nib, which has been interesting. So it's a Swan, maybe Todd, or else maybe Todd Swan. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't actually know. Sorry, I am under a camera, so I can't quite hold it the way I'd like. I'm thinking about different camera options, but I have other things at the moment. 3240 that I'm thinking about even more, so I'm just going to live with this camera for now. And the ink, of course, is Bookbinders. Red Belly Black. Ooh, I see a drawback to this notebook. This ink is kind of fun. I can tell from the screen it's not showing up, but it actually has kind of a reddish sheen. The whole brand has a snake theme, and they're all just named after poisonous snakes and sort of themed after their colors, which snakes are pretty, so hey, why not? Anyway, very nice pen. Now, I don't really do ink reviews, but I'll just tell you a little something about this ink that I'd kind of forgotten about because I haven't used it in a while. This ink, when it dries up on the nib, isn't like other nibs where, you start writing and it, solves the problem by itself. Oh no. This one, if it stays in the pen too long, you actually have to flush the nib off a bit. So I had yesterday I thought it was empty, but then I forgot to take it out of my case. Today I tried writing with it. I'm like, oh no, it was empty. Well, then I looked at the nib and it's all gunked up with red belly black. So I thought, So I ran it under the faucet, and as you can see, it's starting up like a champ again. So that's an ink thing, not the pen thing, because this is not the only pen I've had this problem with. So anyway, a nice understated, I don't know if you can tell it's green, but it's a green pen. I look forward to doing a review. This is an italic nib. I also look forward to talking about italic nibs. So yeah, and I look forward to remembering, because I think I did research this, whether it's maybe Todd Swan or Swan maybe Todd. We'll find out. Maybe. That was a joke. All right, now I've showed you this pen last week. This is an interesting Chinese pen. I just paid a few dollars for it. This is a Lanxivi of some kind. What is it called? Uh-oh. Did I write it down? No, oh, there we go. So this one seems to be still writing like a champ. Inked it up January 8th, so let's Lanxivi. Lanxivi Crocodile Clip. Celluloid. And the ink, of course, is Diamine Peach Haze. This paper, by the way, is proving to have a bit of texture, which I kind of like. I mean, I like Tomoe River paper a lot, but the texture, that kind of appeals to me. Of course, I mentioned before, there's a crocodile here. When I do the review, there's a crocodile on the finial. There's a crocodile on the nib. Crocodiles all over the place. And I can't believe it's celluloid. I'm believing that it's some kind of an acrylic. But still, what an attractive finish. And, as I said, it's a good pen. So, that's going to be a nice review to do. In fact, I'm going to have a nice review with all three of these. Speaking of nice reviews, I showed you this one last week, I think. Maybe I've been doing this 2 weeks. This one is a Camlin. It's an Indian manufacturer. It's a Camlin Sovereign. And the ink in this one is Diamine Autumn Oak. This pen kind of has that aesthetic I like with the semi-hooded nib, a reasonably plain pen. The only thing I'm seeing now, let's see, let's zoom this in a bit. If I can pull this off. Sorta. Okay. You can kind of see here, crusting. So that's two different Diamine inks that I've had crusting with. I'll be honest, I'm not that familiar with the Diamine. I know people say nice things about them, but I don't know Diamine. In this box here, and this shelf here, and my other secret stash, I have one bottle of Diamine ink. I just don't know the brand. So, yeah, but this one and what's the other one? Ancient Copper, the two I've had trouble with crusting with. Luckily, those are either samples or I got, a few cartridges of the Ancient Copper. But they're not bottles. I have a bottle of the Coral, that's all I have. Everything else that you see Diamine is a sample. This Peach Haze, that's a sample. And it's not crusting, so is it the pen, is it the ink? I don't know. Alright, now this pen, you've seen it before. This pen is not getting written down real quickly. It's pretty, but I don't like to take it to work. This really is celluloid. This is a Platinum 3776 celluloid. It's the King Yo finish. I bought it because it was low priced, and it had for what it is, and it had the broad nib. Ooh, and I like how this color looks on this paper with this pen. But it could be because I haven't written with it in 2 or 3 days. So I don't know if it's because I've been busier this week and haven't been shoveling snow and I've had time to write or what, but I wrote down a bunch of pens last weekend and I inked a couple new ones up, but not too many. This pen is near empty, but it's not quite there yet. This is my Kaweco V14S, and on that subject, I actually had an email Wednesday from can't remember his name, I'm sorry. And it was an email, so probably I shouldn't say his name even if I did remember it. But anyway, this gentleman is retired. He's apparently French is his mother tongue, and then he said he speaks Spanish, and he really enjoys German. And apparently English too, because he emailed me, and, German... German I can pick out some words. I used to be more fluent in it, and I kind of got out of practice over college, and my camera quit. Alright, so the German, I took a semester of German in college and, studied a fair bit on my own, but then time, and I've lost a lot of it, so. But I do know this is pronounced Kaweco. Now, last week I called it a Mont Blanc. What was the number on it? 32, because it's the only one I own. And he emailed me to correct my pronunciation, so it's actually Mont Blanc, and I might be slightly mutilating it still. Apparently you don't pronounce the T and the C. So, yeah. And it's French. I mean, I have taken no French in my life, so... And he also pointed out that in the Meisterstück, he pointed out how to pronounce the umlaut. Now, I took German. I won't say my accent was the best. Lately, I've been trying to learn Chinese and actually planning to stick with it. That's been interesting. I'll have to tell you about that sometime. The short version is, really, so far the grammar is not bad. The vocabulary, a few words are familiar, but most of them are just like, oh, that's totally nothing similar. But what's really getting me is the tones. I mean, I just don't have a good ear for tones. So that's going to take some practice, both speaking it and doing it. So I don't know, I need to meet somebody who's Chinese or something. And the writing system, I'm just going to let that one go for a little while and get some vocabulary built up. Because that's a whole animal too. Alright, so anyway, this is not Chinese or French. This is a Kaweco, which I love this pen. And somebody asked me what pen I love. I'm going to address that here in a second. This is a fine nib pen. KWZ Quizzy Grapefruit. Oh, I like how that looks on this paper too. And I like how this pen feels on this paper. And so I think I said before that I think if I had bought this pen first, it might have become my daily writer. I might never have actually tried the Lamy 2000. So this person asked me, I can't remember which commenter it was, and I apologize. I didn't write this down. But they asked me, if there's a pen that you love, which one would it be? And I said the Lamy 2000. I'm going to have to stick with that. I love that pen. That's my always companion, except for today, because I wrote it dry today, and I said, you know what? I don't think it's been cleaned out since before school started, back in August, so we're going to give it a break. I've got black in that Malarkey, which I'd like to use up, plus I'm going to show you another pen that's inked up in black, so yeah, let's use up some other black ink. But anyway, I don't know, I have a hard time with the word love with a pen. It's kind of a superlative. I talk about love all the time, probably. Just that Lamy 2000 is the one I always go to and keep inked up. But this one would be close. I enjoy this one a lot. Now, I'm going to show you, this is another pen that I got in trade. Last week I showed you a Columbus 65, and I showed you what was the other one? Oh, the Swan that I had today, the Swan Maybe Todd. This is another one of the 4 that we traded. This is a Parker 51. Now, I will do a full thing on this later, but you might notice here beside it, so top is the real Parker 51, bottom is the Hero 616, the knockoff. Gosh, if they don't look a lot alike. And when I uncap, they will. So I will do a full comparison. The Hero 616 is not actually inked up. It was in that group that I showed you at the beginning, but just for this purpose. So this is a Parker 51. It's one of the aerometric ones. Just a slip cap. It seems to be a very wet writer, but I also just inked it up a little before I filmed this, so it could be that. I don't know what nib size it is. It doesn't say. I might have to open it. And my ink is another Diamine, but again, I bought a bunch of samples a while back. This is one of those samples. So I don't know if the Parker 51 normally writes that wet. When I do reviews, I will have used the pen for quite some time. Usually at least one full fill. Usually more than that. Usually I try and go at least a month. So anyway, this is... I'll let you know when I do the review if it really is this wet. But it is smooth. It is comfortable in my hand. I could have had, because he offered me several choices, I could have had a black one to go with my minimalist thing. The reason I picked this burgundy color is the very first pen I ever owned was a Parker. It was a Parker Vector. And this burgundy color. So I just went with the burgundy because it kind of matches, because that pen is long gone. I have a replica, but not the original. So yeah, sentimental reasons are why I picked this burgundy color. So far I'm enjoying it. I haven't written much with it, so we'll see how I feel when I review it. It's an aerometric. I don't need to uncap it. Well, what the heck. Let's just show you the nib and feed. It's a hooded nib, of course. It's an aerometric filling mechanism. Actually the same as the knockoff. I was slightly disappointed that it doesn't have a clear ink sac, but then when I thought about it, I would bet that the person I traded it with probably has replaced the sac. Because a lot of the pictures I've seen, they had clear sacs, so I don't know. It works anyway. I'm happy with it. All right, now I have one last pen to show you. Let's see if you can guess what this is. And by the way, I don't normally get a whole bunch of pens in at once. This has kind of been an unusual thing for me. Let's pull this back, get the full effect. He actually has a companion pencil, but I don't have that over here. We'll show you the pencil in the review. And I actually also have its original case that it was sold in, but that I don't have over here either, so we'll save that for later. You recognize it yet? It sure doesn't look like much, does it? Well, the modern version of this pen, I see some for sale right now on the internet for about $900. There's one I really like, which I'll never own. Sorry, just checking time. For about $700. See where I'm going with this? I didn't pay anywhere near that for this one. This is a vintage, so from the 1950s, Aurora 88. No, this is not the one that was smushed in the mail. The one that was smushed in the mail had a gold-colored cap, and it was quite a bit better restored. This one has some of that vintage wear and tear. There's some scrapes and scratches in it. The pencil's in a little bit tougher shape. There's some tarnishing on the cap. I think these colors are supposed to match. On the camera they do, but in my eye they do not. But by God, I like this pen a lot. It could be just the romance because it just came, but I'll tell you what. I was very close to springing for a Lamy Dialogue 3. And then I saw this. And I was just like, Lamy's waiting. So it's another Italian pen. I own exactly one Aurora. So now I own two. 3 if you count the pencil. It's an Aurora 88. It is a vintage pen. For now, I have Noodler's Black in it. No, not a lot of flex to that nib. No, if you look at this pen, it really doesn't look like much. But it sure feels good in my hand. I mean, I just like how it feels. semi-hooded nib again. It has that minimalist aesthetic. You can't see it, but when I review it, I'll make sure the pen's empty to start with. There's a beautiful kind of reddish ink window right here. The ink window looks a lot like... Well, a lot of things look a lot like the ink window in this Columbus 65, only reddish there instead of clear. And yes, the Columbus is run dry. That didn't take long. I'll tell you what, this pen lays down a lot of ink and it's very flexible. So yeah, I like that Columbus a lot. But I'm really enjoying this Aurora. I mean, the feel of it, the weight of it. It's a... I know it was kind of created in response to the Parker 51, but they're coming at it from two totally different directions, which I will have to talk about when I do their respective reviews. And I'm already seeing the beginnings of another rodeo as I look at these two pens. And I'll probably include a few of the others. But, yeah, I want that Lamy Dialogue 3, but it'll wait. They're not making these anymore. So when I saw a chance to buy one for not $700 or $900, substantially less, I jumped at it. That Lamy Dialogue money, you know. I did come into a little bit of money recently, so part of it did go to these pens, and that's why I had this little purchasing binge. But part of the binge was the trading, so I don't feel too bad. And most of the pens that I purchased were cheap ones, but I bought 2 or 3 that were more expensive. But yeah, I'm just really, really enjoying this pen. And since I've cleaned out the Lamy I'm going to. It's not cleaned out yet. Since I'm going to clean out the Lamy 2000 tonight, I think I'm going to let it take a nap for a while and make this be my daily writer until I write it dry. And then we'll see. I'm pretty sure I'll go back to the Lamy 2000 because this is an old irreplaceable pen. But wow, I love it. So yeah, I'm really sorry that the other one got squished in the mail, but by golly, what a great pen. So I'm going to close this. My camera's about to die anyway, so I'm just going to turn it off because I only get 12 minutes at the most on the camera. And what you're looking at here, I won't claim this is, oh yeah, you probably heard that. I won't claim this is great photography, but it is photography taken with my iPad. This is my driveway. I took that this week. I believe it was Monday. And no, I lie. It was Saturday. I took it Saturday. So anyway, you can see the car sitting there in a canyon of snow. I did get a little help. A gentleman I know with a tractor helped me with the snow that was right at the foot of the driveway where the snow plow had piled it, because that stuff is really heavy and really hard. I had to do the rest of it, of course, but he saved me probably 2/3 of my shoveling time. So I only spent about 45 minutes shoveling this time between that and the sidewalk. And yeah, the car is parked in a canyon. And for those who are curious about the bunny that you saw in my freezing coffee at -23 Fahrenheit video, there are black pellets and yellow drippings all over underneath the car. So the rabbit is apparently living under the car. He's got a highway around the back of the house. I'm really hoping he's not chewing on wires underneath the car. So, I thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.